You are listening to the Retina UK Talking Tech Peer Support Group, sponsored by EMVI, your AI visual assistant. This meeting was recorded on Wednesday, the 19th of March, 2025.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our latest Talking Tech Peer Support Group from Retina UK. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Before I introduce our guest speaker, I have some amazing news I'd like to share with everyone. We are now sponsored by EMVI. It's a brand new voice assistant app that you can download for Android and iPhone. We will share details of how you can get the app at the end of the meeting this evening. We are very, very proud to be sponsored by EMVI. They are helping us to continue bringing tech advice and this peer support group to our community. So a massive thank you for them for their support. So you will see their logo in the follow-up emails and also the invitations. And on the recording, it will now say that we are sponsored by this amazing app. So thanks again to them. We will be introducing Darren Tan from Zappar, and he is going to speak about a little bit about himself and also Zappar, and then he will share another amazing app that they are working on called. So thanks again for everyone joining us this evening, and I'm now going to hand over to Aaron, who is going to speak a little bit about what he's doing and what they're up to at Zappar. So thank you, Darren, and welcome.
Hi, thanks, Mark. Thanks for the introduction. Lovely to meet everyone. It sounds like a really really great group, and hopefully I've got something to say that will help and give some food for thought. Yeah, thanks for inviting us. So yeah, my name's Darren, and I work for Zappar, and I've worked for Zappar for about a year. I first joined Zappar as an intern about a year ago on a sort of a 9-month contract. That was post sort of losing my sight at the end of 2023. Previous to that, I had worked for about 20 years in the technology industry, mainly around sales and marketing for a sort of a number of multinationals in a number of verticals. My final role being head of e-commerce, digital marketing and product for an art supplies company, a global art supplies company, basically. Yeah, I lost my sight to retinitis pigmentosa. I was diagnosed about 12 years ago and found, I guess, the night vision and the sort of peripheral vision loss, I think, relatively more manageable. And I was still able to carry on my work, but when it started to affect my central vision, it became increasingly hard to carry on what I was doing. So I decided to take a step back, learn how to use my white cane, get around the house and manage the house independently, and also sort of socially interact independently as well as I guess embracing a lot of the assistive technology that's around, with the goal to getting back into work. So, figuring out how to use screen readers and JAWS and NVDA, Dragon, etc., Zoom text. So luckily enough, I found an internship with Zappar. Zappar are a technology company effectively, and luckily I was able to find a role that sort of suited my previous experience, and also was working in the assistive technology space, which I found quite fascinating since learning through all of those sorts of things. So that was brilliant. My role at Zappar is as an ecosystem manager. So effectively, I work towards raising awareness of our technology within communities like yourselves, gather feedback from the communities, as well as well, effectively to improve the product and look at different business cases or use cases that we can use that technology for. And then the final portion is more around the commercial side, where I advocate and influence commercial manufacturing industries to adopt accessible packaging, and also governmental bodies to be more inclusive in terms of what they're producing as well. So Zappar as a company have been around for about 15 years. They're a visual technology company. They are relatively well renowned for producing immersive experiences within augmented reality and virtual reality. So their core business for those 15 years has been, effectively in improving or enhancing advertising, packaging, faces, etc., to make them more immersive and make them a little bit more Pokemon Go-ish, to be fair. So within one of those relationships, we were approached by Unilever, and Unilever were looking to solve for a problem, or one of their core strategies, should I say, which was around making their packaging and making their products more accessible to everybody, and specifically for the blind. So, sort of having worked in that space before with Unilever, they approached Zappar to come up with a solution, and that's how effectively Zap Vision was born. So Zap Vision is effectively a solution that makes product packaging readable and understandable by the blind on shelves and at home. The way that we've done that is through the use of a QR code. So the reason we did that was that we had to find a commercial balance between one being effective for the blind, and usable by the blind, but then secondly making it commercially viable so we can scale it to all their product packaging. And when we were doing our discovery work, it aligned with some work that GS1 are doing, who are a global standards agency. They introduced the barcode into I think on the first Wrigley's packet way back way before I was born. And effectively now the barcode is a standard across all products across the globe. So they were effectively trying to push an initiative that changed all of those barcodes to QR codes by 2029. So effectively thought, right, well, if everyone's making that change to their packaging, then let's use that opportunity to see if we can add something to that QR code to make it more useful for blind people to use. So what we did is we took the QR code, a normal sort of standard pack QR code, which is about 15 millimeters, sorry. And we placed a little D3 schema around the outside of it. So a normal QR code can be read from about 50 centimeters. Effectively, if you're in a store looking for a product at 15 centimeters, it's not really all that viable. So the dot dash scheme, which we put around the outside of the QR code to make an accessible QR code, allows that QR code to be read at about 1.2 meters, so around sort of browsing distance. So what it does is, so if you're in front of if you're in front of a shelf at a store, you can use the apps to scan for AQRs. It will locate and identify the category and the product name, and then it will guide you into that product. And then once you're further into that product, it will also tell you all of the ingredients of that product, all of the details that are on that packaging. So, for example, allergens, ingredients, weights, how to open it, how to use it, etc. And we're working on serialization, which is expiry dates and best before dates, etc. So it effectively gives us a little bit more choice in terms of what we're choosing on the shelf, and also helps at home as well. So there's no more sniff tests necessary. You can tell it's a lasagna as opposed to a bolognese, or you can tell if this is going to kill me or if it's not. So that's the effectively solution, and it's all done through the app. All of the information is provided in a usable way, i.e. a very structured way, and it comes directly from the manufacturer as well. So you all know that it's an empirical, they're empirical ingredients and empirical information. So it's my cat deciding he's running around, and yeah, so the way that we sort of the way that you can access the app really is through we run a Zap Vision app itself, which is actually more of a reference app. But one of the feedback points that we got from the RNIB is that there are quite a few apps that blind people use, and the less apps that we can use, the better. So we've actually integrated with Seeing AI, Be My Eyes, as well as EMVision, to expand the use of that app. So as part of my work on the product side, I work on those integrations as well. So I mean, that's the core product effectively. I don't know if anyone's got any questions there as yet, but I'll go on towards talking about how we've gone on to try and figure out more of a solution further down the line. But right now we're on about 4.5 billion packs around the world. So we work quite closely with Unilever, Diageo, Bayer, Nestle, and Mondelez as well to get on as many packets as we can. But obviously there are trillions of packs around the world. So yeah, we're kind of just at that point where we feel like, okay, it's probably a good time to surface this now with the blind community, as they're gonna get some use out of it. But then also, we also need the pressure from the blind community to help us with building that out to more brands within those conglomerates, and also usage adoptions. So yeah, that's the core product. Do we have any sort of questions there, or is that a good place to sort of pause, Mark?
It's up to you. Does anybody have any questions in regards to the sort of primary focus around that vision and product wayfinding in a supermarket, or should we go on to the next part of Darren's vision?
Yeah, could I ask a question?
Certainly.
And maybe I'm being a bit silly here, Darren. But I know I don't use Seeing Eyes or Being My Eyes very often, but when I do, it is generally to read just what you said, lasagna packages or whatever like that. How does, if you've got a shelf in a supermarket with like a fridge and it's got all these products, generally the QR code, or not the QR code, the barcode's on the underside of the product, or it's on the back of the product. How, if you stand in front of that cabinet, how is it going to locate that QR code without taking every packaging off that shelf and scanning it over? I suppose is what I'm meaning, if you understand what I mean.
No, absolutely, and that's one of the challenges. So I guess we work quite closely with, or work very closely with our brands to give them best practice in terms of where to place the barcode. The QR code.
Yeah.
So we do recommend that it's on the front of the pack. I think there are examples of codes going all the way around the pack as well. So it doesn't matter which way it's pointed.
Right. Okay.
But this is a learning experience really for us and the brands. So one of the key learnings that we took away from work we did with Quality Street, one of the key learnings that Quality Street took away, is that placing it on the bottom of a tin doesn't make it any more accessible than placing it, doesn't actually make it accessible, because no one can actually, no one knows it's there, basically.
Yeah. That's the question. Yeah.
So it's a learning experience really, and packaging is such real estate for brands that the first step really is to get something on the product. And then we can sort of hone it with the brands to say, look, it's brilliant that you're doing this, and it's great that you got the comms out and telling people about it, but it's going to be far more effective and far more useful next time if we place it here. If that makes sense. So kind of first steps, and then a bit of encouragement, and one of my main sort of points around sort of being with this group is that we really do want that feedback so that we can feed that back to the brands with a bit more gravitas and say, look, let's if you're really going to take accessible packaging seriously, then here are some ideas, and here's the weight behind it, right? So
there's no point in having lip service to it, because really put it on the bottom is just lip service. We've done it, we've ticked the box. It was not accessible. And could that be your organisation? Could that be could that then be an industry standard that you ask for it to be on the top, or the whatever? Could that be something that you could actually ask as an industry standard?
That is, we've been going for about 2 years, but and we are making inroads into sort of governmental legislation and standards, etc. So global standards one is the barcode people, and they have some sway over those sorts of things. So they have some sway over where the barcode is, etc. But then again, it's a brand choice, and how we actually get that into, I guess, an accessible sort of standards sort of tick box, not tick box is the wrong phrase, but guideline. Then it's a longer process, but at least it's the start of a process.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
But yeah, it's a really valid point. Thank you for that.
Thanks very much for your question. We've got one in the comments box from Edward. You like to read that out for us, Caroline?
Yeah, so it says, Edward said, thanks, Darren. This sounds very interesting. But the only review I can see in the App Store refers to users having to read small text to choose the photo. And then you have to press the microphone button to record a question and to stop recording. Have you been able to address these comments, or are they incorrect, perhaps? Thanks.
So yeah, we run reference apps. So our Zap Vision app is effectively a reference app. So we don't promote the app itself. We promote we give our software away to any application developer for free. So we integrate with Be My Eyes. You can download the Zap Vision app, and it is the working version, but we integrate with Be My Eyes and Seeing AI, etc., to kind of expand that reach, and so that not everyone's having to switch between apps. So I'm not sure which app you've got there, but the description is probably wrong, to be honest. So I'll definitely take a look at that. But if you're looking at the Zap Vision app, then that shouldn't be the case as a description. It's Zappvision.
I don't think we've had any other questions.
Oh, yeah, no. Gaynor said, are you planning to get into own brand supermarkets?
We are, yeah. So we okay. This actually probably leads on to where I was going to go next, but we do talk to supermarkets themselves, because they hold the most sway with manufacturers effectively, and we are talking with a few large scale supermarkets in the UK, as well as in Southeast Asia and Sweden at this point. So the problem with adoption really is the timelines for adoption. The packaging changes very, very sort of infrequently. So to make a change to a packet can take up to about a year, etc. So with the own brand scenario, that's kind of some of the feedback that we've got, that yes, we do want to do it, but we don't want to just do it for that, if that makes sense. When we change our packaging, we'll include it within that. So yes, we are talking to own brands, but then also, there are other applications, and this is where I guess the product side of my role comes in, is that there are sort of other applications to the QR code and the sort of scanning technology that we have. And one of the challenges that one of the large supermarkets have come up with is that, and myself, to be fair, is that it's great to be able to find products on the shelf, but I want to be able to get to that shelf in the first place as well. So we are also looking at sort of indoor or in-store navigation around those spaces as well. So that is QR code based. It's not based on Wi-Fi, etc. It won't be app based either, but you can pretty much pick up anywhere in store that you are and say that I want to be taken to find the baked beans. And it'll take you on the safest route as a blind person or a person in a wheelchair or a person with access issues to that can of baked beans and then onto the checkout, etc. and out the door. There are numerous applications to that, and we're sort of talking with train stations and mass transit stations around the world as well to integrate that solution. And another use case is around art galleries and museums, where we're using that sort of structured data to be able to kind of, I guess, surface a lot more information, or firstly, like I said, allow people to find museums a bit more inclusive and find and navigate them more independently. But then secondly, include them within how to describe artwork and where to find out more information, etc., and things like that. So that's another sort of application to the actual technology itself. We're always trying to find different angles to it. We're working with the Home Office as well to try and make passports a little bit more readable and things like that. So a number of different avenues and a number of different applications, and we were just very, very fortunate that the packaging side of things was the things that has kicked off first, and we're obviously pursuing that as much as we can. But there are other uses and any other use cases we're looking to go down too. So. And I mean, part of the reasons I wanted to talk to the group was that we do need the feedback to improve the product, and we do encourage it. Whether it's placement within the actual apps themselves or problems with the actual technology itself, we can handle. But then there are sort of these other use cases. Sorry, that's my cat. There are these other use cases that we're going to use some help or need some help beta testing, etc. as well. So I'd love to include you guys in that. If anyone's keen, then please let us know, and I'll work with Mark over the follow-up. So, but yeah, sorry, that's the second part and probably the last part of my presentation. So, yeah.
Thank you very, very much, Darren. It seemed absolutely amazing what you guys at Zappar are doing to encourage us to remain mobile and independent with indoor and outdoor navigation and product wayfinding. I've got a quick question. Is it just food packaging that you're actually investing this technology into, or will it be adapted to things like clothing brands as well, like high street clothing stores, sports brands, etc., so people can go in, shine their phone at a particular item, and it will scan the item, and it will tell you what it is, what color it is, and and what size it is, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're talking to a few retailers, and we're quite a small team at this point. So we've had to focus our sort of our efforts in one place, but we absolutely do see an application for textiles, etc. We've had varying levels of interest from Marks and Spencer's for one, which I think I can name. So it is about sort of being in the right place at the right time with a lot of these companies. And if Marks and Spencer turn around tomorrow and said, we really want this on there, we'll jump at it basically, and we'll do it. But it's just about keeping all of those plates spinning at this point, and trying to focus on getting on to as many packs as possible right now. But yeah, that was definitely along our train of thought.
Brilliant. It's really good. And it's pretty amazing what you guys are doing. I think Rita has got a hand up. Rita, have you got a question for Darren?
Hello. Yes, I have. I'm just wondering what you can provide when it comes to museums, and would that also be through Seeing AI and Be My Eyes? Because I'm actually going to a meeting tomorrow with our local museum to discuss making it more accessible. So if you've got any information I can pass on, that would be really good.
That's perfect. I mean, yes, we have started approaching museums. We're doing it conjunctively. We're doing it with Be My Eyes at this point. So it would be through that app. But the wayfinding solution's not quite ready yet. That's probably going to be ready in September. Sorry, not September, July. But the AQR portion is ready now, effectively. So we can sort of give a lot more context around what's around that painting, what's in that painting, etc. And then within that Be My Eyes portion, a lot of the line of thinking is that the AI can describe the imagery to the user. And then there's also a button there to call someone up, possibly a curator or someone else to answer any questions as well. I have sort of, I guess, a live product sheet that I could share with you if you like. You know, yeah, definitely be keen to follow that.
And is there a cost to the museum for this?
There is, but it's slightly undefined at this point. So,
okay. Yeah, I mean, this is actually a long-term project, a total upgrade of the museum. So, you know, we're in on the ground floor. They haven't started work yet, and it's going to take a couple of years, I would think. But yeah, cool. Any information you can send would be appreciated, because although I've got a meeting tomorrow, there will be further meetings.
No, absolutely. I'll yep. I guess Mark will follow up with an email, which more than happy to have my email in. So we can definitely do a follow up, and I can send you over whatever you need.
Yeah. Okay. Lovely. Thanks very much.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Any information, Darren, that you've got in regards to how to get other organisations involved to improve wayfinding, we can share that in the follow-up emails. Any sheets, any links, any information, how anyone can get involved. And that includes the beta testing as well. You know, we will drop all the information in where you can download the app. And how you can get involved with helping Darren and the team fine tune and sort of give you your feedback. So
I apologise. This is my first go at this as well, by the way. So if it was a bit rough, then you'll get better next time.
No, it's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, Darren. For your time, we really do appreciate you taking the time evening to speak to us this evening about that vision and your own journey. That's really much appreciated. And the amazing Zap Vision app and how you're integrating it into other apps. If there were any other apps that would like to get involved, are you limited how many apps that have got similar properties where you can embed the Zap Vision part of it? Or are you just kind of tied into sort of Seeing AI, Be My Eyes, and also they seem to be more Apple led. Are you working with any Android apps at the moment? I know you can get Be My Eyes on Android, but are you working with Lookout by Google or any other Android apps at the moment?
Yeah, so we're the SDK, or the software development kit, sorry, is available for free to everybody. So any developer that wants to take up the app, either in a lightweight form or a fully fledged form, can integrate it into what they're doing. It's just about sort of finding the people that want to take it. So I've been trying to find a contact with Lookout, without too much success. But yeah, absolutely. Any developer developing an app can integrate it how they like. To be fair, so if you do have any contacts with Lookout, then let me know.
Excellent. No, well, yeah, yeah. Watch this space. So yeah, we'll be.
Nice.
But yeah, if I come across any app developers where I feel that this software would benefit, and anybody else that's joined us this evening or listening on the recording that has any connection with any app developers that are introducing apps for the impaired and the blind, that feel that this might be a good addition to their app, then please do get in touch with me, and I'll relay that information over to Darren, because the more that we can collaborate, it means the more that apps become multi-tools. Like Darren said at the very beginning, you're not switching between 5 different apps to do different various things, just from getting you to A to B, or to do your shopping. So the more it can be a multi-tool or a Swiss Army approach. So you've just got one app with with loads of features, and
everything in one place.
Everything in one place. Yes, Paul. Yeah, that's I think
There's too much choice now. Everything's. I find this. I feel like there's too much choice now for this. For reading things now. It's gone crazy. I mean, I've just wasted my money. Last year, 2 years ago now, on an Orcam read, which I don't use anymore. I feel I find the Google Lookout a bit easier, because you can just leave it running, and then when it detects the text, it'll start reading. But you can't do that with the Orcam read. You've got to be you've got to be a bit more exact, and it's a bit like it's taking a picture, but because I use Google Lookout a lot for reading things or posts, and I've even tried it over like screens of devices. So if you've got a device that you sort of go into menus, especially if it doesn't talk. I've got a few of them, like radios that don't speak. You can put your phone over the screen, and then it'll pick up what it's in. Sometimes it doesn't do it perfectly, but it's a case of fiddling around and just seeing what happens. And
yeah, I'm exactly the same with the washing machine screen and things like subtitles on the TV and anything that comes up on the display, that's not all read out. You literally just have to freeze the screen. That's the joys of pausing live TV, that you can literally just grab your phone, open up Lookout, and then it will literally just start reading what's on the screen. This is why these types of apps are invaluable for us to be able to carry on doing what we need to do, and remain independent, mobile, and enjoy daily living. So thanks very much, Paul. I'm glad that you use Google Lookout. That's my app of choice for an Android. So if anyone else has got any thoughts or feedback regarding these apps and how they can be improved, and additions like that vision going in them, then brilliant. So thanks very much for you, Paul, for chipping in. We got any other questions?
No, at the moment.
No. Well, thanks again, Darren, for your presentation, and what you're doing at Zappar and working on that vision. When is it officially launched? Is it out now, or is it going to be out in a few months? What have we got to look forward to?
Yeah, Zap Vision's out now. So it's already integrated into all those apps, and it's also starting to appear on more and more products as we go through. So if there is one, it is a bit hit and miss at this point. So I know there's about 1 trillion products, but we are on was it 4.5 billion at this point, which is quite a substantial amount, but nowhere near 1 trillion. So that's out at the moment. We are working towards a wayfinding solution for sort of for June, July. penciled in. Yeah, around sort of I guess May time, we might be looking for testers, etc., to help us out with that product or that final product. And there is also something else that might be launched quite soon as well, with Microsoft seeing AI, that again we could use some help with testing too. So I'll stay in touch. But yeah,
excellent. That sounds really good. Lots to look forward to. So what we'll do is we'll share in the follow-up any information and how people can say if you've got anything like that, mailing list or anything where people keep up to date all things new from Zappar and ZapVision. One more question to help people: is it really accurate when, say, you're looking for the barcode and we've seen it in the supermarkets where they check out, people trying to find the barcode and they're literally going around every square corner trying to find the barcode. For someone that's visually impaired, will there be any instances, on some packaging where it would be quite tactile or embossed? You feel for it, then you can put the phone on it, or is the app pretty sensitive that you'll be able to find it without that feature?
Yeah, the app's relatively accurate and very fast as well. So so the response rate's really good. So if it's on a side that's facing the camera, then absolutely it'll pick it up. So yeah, the tactile portion is more difficult from a manufacturing level as well, because it's difficult it's easy for a manufacturer to print a QR code, but not so easy for them to change their manufacturing process to add bumps, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's a valid point. But yeah, the app is very sensitive, and is very accurate and can pick it up if there's an AQR code on that side of that product, so from about 1 meter away. So.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Well, thanks again, Darren. Has anyone got any sort of final questions for Darren at all? Any hands up? Questions? Anyone want to jump in?
No, I think we're good.
Darren, you're more than welcome to stick around and join us for a little bit of a tech roundup. And if anyone has got anything that they want to share, anything that they're struggling with, any tech advice that they want to glean from myself or the rest of the group, then this is the time for people to your questions in, put your hands up, weigh in with anything that you want to talk about, and or you've got any tech that you want to share, and then I'll finish up last sort of 5 minutes, a little brief overview of our new sponsor EMVI, and
yeah, I might stick around, Mark, actually.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, we've got 10 minutes anyway, so does anyone have any questions that they want to fire out to the group?
Yeah, Sharon's got a hand up.
Oh, Sharon's got a hand up.
Yeah.
Hi, Sharon.
I did manage it for once. I'm not very good with that, but I did manage. Does anybody have any update on the and excuse me if I'm not in the right group for asking the question, the robot guide dog? I certainly was on a call last August, September time with the group that meets on a Thursday in the Lancashire type area, and I was given an email address to contact the staff at James Watt University in Glasgow. Never got anything back, and I have left further messages at the engineering department at James Watt. And I just wondered, has anybody heard any more about how that's progressing and where it's progressing? I'm just pretty nosy, since I've just had my second guide dog in 5 years withdrawn, even though I wanted my 5th guide dog. So I've really only had a working guide dog for 2 out of the last 5 years, which really is quite inconvenient. And I'm really quite, I do think this is the way that we're eventually going to go, is guide robots. And I just wondered, does anybody have any information of where we're at with that? That's my question. Thank you.
Does anyone want to weigh in? Well, the last the last thing that I heard, and I tried to see whether the developers, and I can't remember the professor's name that was leading on this project at Glasgow University, but I did see a press release. I think it was in the Scottish Alliance, where I first heard about this robotic guide dog type device, and I think it was to assist people with indoor navigation.
That's what it currently is. They're looking eventually to make it as outdoor. And
yes,
what they said on the call was you would, similarly, where you would hire a wheelchair when you go to a supermarket, supermarkets would have these guide robots to take you around the supermarket, but you've got to get to the supermarket in the first place. So that was initially what they were looking at. And I just wondered if Vendor had any other information.
No, I haven't heard anything, and this from what I've heard, because I was trying to see whether they would like to speak at our Glasgow peer support group meeting, and this was way back last year.
Yeah.
But I left them a voicemail message to see whether anyone would get in touch with me, whether they wanted to come and do something from a Scotland online peer support group, which I know that you attend, but they didn't come back to it. So what I might do is I might actually do a little bit of investigating, and if I can find any updates for you, Sharon, I will.
Well, what I did pick up from that, it was Tim from, I can't remember the name of the group in the northwest area that meet on a Thursday, and on that call there was about 45 of us actually were on the call, but Tim might have more information. But the next place I was going to try was in Falkirk. There's the Centre for Sensory Impairment, and I believe they were actually trialling what was happening, so they're kind of on my hit list this week to then contact them to see have they got any more information, because on the call they were very happy to have other people participate and be guinea pigs for this, but the fact that when you email them they're not coming back is not particularly helpful. So that was really why I was asking the question. But Tim might know more. I can't remember Tim's surname, but you'll know him.
There might be some more information. I know Valerie, our Edinburgh Peer Support Group, sent me some information regarding updates to the +1 travel scheme, and that was from Scotland. So they may have a little bit more information in regards to the advancements of this mobility robot. So yeah, but if I find anything, then I will forward that on.
Please, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much. Good question. Thank you.
Just as a note on that, that is something that we're working towards as well, with the indoor navigation portion. So effectively, we are making computers understand the spaces in supermarkets. With the ultimate goal is to have sort of make those spaces readable by robots, to do commercial things as well as help people from a blind perspective. But for us, that's quite blue sky thinking right now. So, but yeah, something we're working on.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Darren and Sharon. That's great. We've got Steve with his question. You right, Steve? Hand up.
Yes, thank you. I'm just going to ask this barcode reader. I was asked the question to Darren. Will it work through glass? I'm thinking about like fridges, that type of thing. If you've got stuff in a fridge and you're going along the aisle, will it be able to read through that glass to tell you what's in the fridge?
It can do it. It depends on lighting to some extent, though. So if there's a reflection on the fridge, etc., it becomes a little less. It becomes a little less obvious. But it will work through glass. But yeah, the actual sort of finish on a tin as well and things like that are things that generate a bit of loss in that sort of detection portion. But it should work, but not 100%. If that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Steve, and thanks, Darren. Have we got any other questions?
No.
Any other tech? Edward, were you happy to just share a little overview of the tech that you are getting hands on with at the moment, the wearable device?
Hey, thanks very much, Mark. Yes, absolutely. Thanks for another excellent meeting and hearing from Darren, etc. earlier. So this is just something that won't be the silver bullet for everybody. So I apologise for anybody who feels this is not for them. But I've found it quite helpful. I've got central vision loss, so I have got peripheral vision, which I think means I can make a lot of use of this, but other people may benefit as well. So it's a product called Zero Augmented Vision Smart Glasses, and Mark kindly, I think, will send out basic details from a small startup called Roto Limited. Not the most memorable name, but we'll flag them off for that because I can't think, I couldn't run my own company. So they produced a very interesting sort of smart glasses based on a Samsung S9 mobile phone in a frame with what looked like a couple of, a small pair of binoculars attached. And they're all clipped to the bottom of the peak of a peaked cap. And so there are lenses in there for you to look through. So there you are. That I know that doesn't cover everybody, of course. But it gives me certainly an enhanced view of the world. It'll go up to 8 times magnification and is voice controlled, and you can adjust contrast, brightness, sorry, not contrast, I think, but brightness and a number of other parameters. And as well as that, there's also text to speech function. So, but of course, it's a bit like, I think, was it Paul said, the Orcam read, if you can't point it accurately, it can't read, it won't read things out to you. So, but it is voice controlled, which is neat. So the reason I'm flagging up is because the basic model costs £500, and the competitors that have higher specifications, but like the Iris Vision Live, if anybody's seen one of those, or the A-Sight VR, they're between £2,500 and £4,000 or even more. So it's much cheaper at 500 quid or a bit more if you want to pay for additional support, etc. And you can talk to the people of actually developing the product as well, which is rather nice. You can interact directly with them, which obviously isn't going to happen very often with some really big company or somebody the other side of the world. They're based in Oxford, and they offer demos if you go to their Oxford lab. So if you're in that part of the country, great. I actually made do with an online demo, and then I took a chance and ordered one on the basis there's a 30-day opportunity to return and get your money back. So it's not the best product in every way, but at £500, I thought it was worth a punt, and I'm pleased with it so far. So I'm not here to sell it. I'm just a user. I'm not on commission or anything like that. Appreciate the opportunity to just mention it to people who might be interested and want to contact Roto about their Zero product, and then talk to them online about it to get a demo either online or in person. Thanks very much, Mark. Cheers.
Oh, thank you very, very much, Edward, for that overview of Zero. So yeah, we will add some information should anybody be interested in having a little look at this device. I myself have tried that one out as well when I think it was about last year, and I got kind of hands-on with that device as well. It is good. It's got some good features, and it may help with close up if you are struggling with sort of your craft making or model making, or you like or anything like that, where you just need that little bit of extra clarity, then this will actually enhance your vision. It's not. They did say to me that it's not walk around wearable. They insist that it's not what you wouldn't walk around after dark with it, or it's not something that you would wear when you're out and about, but it's more of a indoors sit down, and it can actually help from watching TV maybe, but for more information, speak to the team at Drew, and they will be able to answer any kind of questions. So, thanks again, Edward, for that overview. I've got a little something that I actually purchased last week. So anyone that's a bit of a DIY, I picked up a talking tape measure from the team at Cobalt Systems Limited. If I can just put it on the screen for the people that have site, I'll do a little bit of a audio describe. So it's about 9.5 centimeters long, and it's quite chunky in terms of its depth. You've got this massive chunky bit here where your belt is. But what I do like about it, it's got a nice right angle. And the reason for that is it can actually, if I switch it on, quite loud, it can do internal and external measurements. There we go. Let's look.
Error. 8 is not in.
8. There we go. There's a bit in. So, turn it around. Get this up.
Error. 8 is not in. Error. 8 is not in. Error. 8 is not in.
Typical, isn't it? As soon as I've been using it all
Add
afternoon.
0 millimeters, including case, 95 millimeters.
There we go.
152 millimeters, including.
It does with the case and with that case. So if you're doing internal measurements, like of a recess or something, it does imperial and metric measurements. And
Turning off in 5 seconds.
There you go. It's got auto shutdown as well, so just in case you leave it on to try and retain battery level. I like it. I've got another one which is probably about 4 times the value that I paid for this. It's only £65, including postage and everything, which I thought was really good. The only difference to the one that I've got and this one other one I've got, it's got a talking spirit level as well. That's why it's considerably a little bit more expensive. And it's very, very difficult to get hold of now because the one that I've got is manufactured in Austria and they don't tend to ship to the UK. But I am investigating to see whether there are any distributors where you can get this, but you are looking close to £300 for the other one. So if you're just looking for a cheap and cheerful talking tape measure to help you, with measurements around the home, whether you're a bit of a DIY enthusiast or wants to measure stuff, then this is an ideal little tip to add to your toolbox. Again, this is just impartial advice. I don't work for systems. I just like to see and try out new devices so I can share with the group. So I will add this one to the list of devices. I've also, and I'm very, very glad I've got it, I've got a WeWalk 2 smart cane on the way as well, and I was hoping that I'll get my hands on that before before the meeting, so I could demonstrate a little bit for that. So that will be for the next meeting, which is going to be on the 15th of May, and we will be inviting a guest speaker from EMVI to give us a proper rundown on their brand new app that they're developing, which has got a very clever AI assistant built into it. I've downloaded the app for both Android and iPhone, and I will put the links into the app. It's EMVI.ai name, and EMVI is the company name. I will add that information to the follow-up email. But in the meantime, please have a go, download it, see what you think, and we will be doing a bit of a focus group for the next Talking Tech group in May. So if has anybody got any final questions before we end?
Yeah. Gainer's just put in the comments box.
Okay.
Has anyone read about the Meta AI glasses at all?
No, I've heard about them, but that's the same as the it's the same kind of stuff as like the Orcam Read kind of related stuff, similar. But I've never tried them.
From value point, again, they are a lot cheaper than some other wearables, and at the moment there is a lot going on with legislation in terms of what features are switched on and usable in the UK. And as opposed to America, there's a lot more features that are available in America and Canada as there are over here. I know they were going to be introducing and integrating EMVI AI into the Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses. They can't at the moment, I don't believe. It's like a talk and tell feature where they're not switching that on that can help with things description because of certain, I believe it's sort of data protection and GDPR and stuff, that type of thing. But you can still use them to make calls, send messages, receive messages while you're out and about, listen to music. So at I think around between 300 and 350 pounds, they are a great accessory to have. And they will be introducing features at a later date. I was going to buy a pair for Christmas, but they didn't at the time have polarized lenses that I could see, as I wanted them for sunglasses as well. They were just coloured lenses. So, but keep an eye on the Ray-Ban and the Meta website. Join up to their mailing list because they're always adding new information as to when more features will be available. But if anybody can get to any of the site villages this year, the first one's going to be on the 8th of April in Cardiff. And then they're going to be going to Glasgow in May. I think it's either the 25th or the 26th. And then in July, they're going to be in Birmingham for a couple of days. And then they're going to be going back up to Blackpool, I believe, in September. And then they're going to be in our nation's capital, London. I think is it the 18th and 19th of November, to try and get hands-on with all new tech. You know, this is the best place to do it. You get to see an array of different home tech, office tech, smart tech, where you can really get hands-on, try it out to see whether it's something that is good, right for you before you commit to buy anything. You know, it's a great place to network as well. So I hope that answers your question, Gaynor, but I will be doing a rundown about the smart glasses, and there is a chap on YouTube called Sam who runs a channel called The Blind Life. He did do a really good review of the Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses. This was an American review, so the features may be different to the UK version, but still worth checking out, and I'll add that into the follow-up as well. Does anyone have any final questions or advice, or you know, any frustrations that you're having at the moment? Happy to share any knowledge that I might have. No, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you very, very much, everybody, for joining us for our latest Retina UK Talking Tech Peer Support Group, sponsored by EMVI. Thank you very much to Darren for sharing some information about himself and the amazing work that they're doing at Zappar with that vision, product finding and wayfinding. Thank you so much for your time. And thanks to Caroline that's been supporting me with the comms. I'm Mark Baxter for Retina UK saying thanks again and enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you on the 15th of May for the next Talking Tech Peer Support Group. Take it easy and enjoy the rest of your night. Bye-bye, everybody.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Mark.
We hope you've enjoyed this Retina UK peer group recording. If you have any questions or queries regarding its content, or you would like to leave us some feedback, then please do get in touch. You can contact us via our helpline on 0300 111 4000. Call the office team on 01280 821 334, or alternatively, you can contact us via email at services@retinauk.org.uk. If you are interested in creating your own peer support group and assisting Retina UK to grow our peer support group network and join our amazing team of volunteers, then please do get in touch by contacting us at info@retinauk.org.uk and speak to a member of staff to see how you can get involved. Thanks again for listening, and please stay tuned for more peer support group recordings coming throughout this year. Take care and all the best. Bye for now.